What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. So I'm here with a very special guest. This is Miss Molly Hopkins. And you guys don't know, but I have been trying to get Molly Hopkins on my show for a very long time, and we couldn't make it work. And now she's finally here. I feel beyond honored to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk to me. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Sometimes life gets in the way, and sometimes people tell you can't talk to folks, but as long as we know what we're talking about and we're here to just, seal some deals and do some things, I'm excited too. I'm of the belief that whether it's one, none, or a ton of listeners, somebody somewhere is going to be impacted and, learn a little tea about me. But really for the TIT, I think today.
Yes, that is definitely one of the subjects we're going to talk about, which is different from my podcast. But I have checked the analytics, and 85% of the people who listen to my podcast are women. So I think a lot of people are going to hear this, and that they're not used to hearing it from me. But I want to first get to know you a little bit better because we know you as the reality TV star. We know you as the boss. I want to get to know Molly. So, what kind of music do you like? Like, are you a all around type music person? Because I listen to everything. I even listen to some country. So, like, what kind of music is blasting in your car when you're on your way to work?
So I have to tell you, you said country. I grew up in the country, as you probably know, and you may or may not know, but I went to school for music. I thought I was going to be teaching theory and running a mega choir somewhere. I grew up in the church, producing musicals, playing piano. I can play a ton of instruments. So music is very near and dear to my heart. I listen to everything, but as of lately, I'm really into Blanco Brown. He is a black country artist. He just did a track with T.I. They rode in on horseback to the Atlanta game. And I just really love this man because if you didn't know he was black, you would be like, once people find out when I play it for them, they're like, oh my gosh, he has so much soul. He's so country and he's so great. But it's got that backbeat, right? That we're used to. I mean, I really
Yes.
love pop. I love awesome lyricists, but there's really no genre of music that I don't listen to. When I go to foreign countries and I'm in the car, I just got back from Dubai. We were on our way to the sand dunes, and our driver for the safari was like, "What kind of music do you want to listen to?" And I'm like, I want to listen to your music. What do you listen to? What's vibing right over here? Because I feel like music can cross cultures and cross barriers. So I love all kinds of music.
I love that. I actually also grew up in the country. I'm from Louisiana. So I grew up in the church, singing in the church. So country music, it just reminds me so much of church music. So I definitely listen to that. I mean, I listen to everything. I listen to Drake. I listen to everything, but I love the idea that you are all around with your music. So if you're a recording artist, what would your stage name be?
Honestly, I kind of have one already. It's Molly T, because a lot of people call me Molly Teresa, and I have a big tattoo of Mother Teresa on my back. And when I was in college, I used to go to Atlanta and go to a bunch of underground studios. It was when Outkast was really popping, and there was a lot of people in Atlanta doing hip hop and performing. And I played piano and I could do beats. But I'm also a writer. So I think that that just stemmed from almost like, not that this 47-year-old white girl is going to go up on a stage and start rapping, but I always tell myself I could ghostwrite a chart topping hit for sure. And I know it's kind of funny because a lot of the 90-day people say they sing or they do whatever, but it truly is my background. And just the other night, because I was at a Christmas party and I had a couple cocktails and I was on the good foot, so I was not feeling, like any kind of way except this be myself. And sometimes it takes a little bit of that liquid courage to go into like a cipher. And so I ended up sitting at a round table making up rhymes off the cuff with a bunch of young cats, and I actually had a great time. I was just taken back to 20 years ago when, because I could rhyme off the cuff. So that was really fun for me, but it would be Molly T.
I'm excited to hear that you have this musical background because I had no idea. You don't really talk about it. You have so many talents. You do so many things, but I had no idea that you could write music and play music and you went to school for music. I'm literally mind blown right now.
I'm kind of trying to dive back into it a little bit. I think that life got in the way, and then I started my business and I started, doing all the things that I do. And then the reality stuff hit, and it kind of took a back seat. But when I was on Double Divas on Lifetime, I actually wrote our theme song, and I actually helped co-write some of the lyrics. They bought the rights back then to It Takes Two from Rob Bass, and I helped co-write the lyrics and performed it and made a music video in the studio.
I've seen that video online. I love it, by the way. I've seen it online. I really want to see you get back into music. It's never too late, and I feel like you have talent, and you have so many different talents. So we want to see you kind of embrace all of those.
I feel like it's going to happen because one of my vision board things since I was very little, and obviously, as you know, as you're a follower, and there's a lot of haters, but there's also a lot of lovers. I have more love than hate. But one of the hate messages I get the most is, oh my God, her voice is so annoying. Does she really talk like that? And my whole life, children really gravitate to me. And a lot of people tell me that their kids think I sound like a cartoon character. And interestingly enough, I always wanted to do voiceover for cartoons, but I wanted a singing part. So Disney was real high on the radar. So I'm hopeful that that might be about to pop off. I just landed my first voiceover gig. So I've been working and diving into that. And I'm always trying to just educate myself and learn more about the industry. So now that I've got some filming and reality stuff under my belt, I think I'm going to take it a step further.
I can't wait to hear your voiceover debut. I'm very excited. I love to hear things like this because so many people, they watch these shows, they think they know you. They think they know everything that you're about and what you have going on. They have no idea who you really are.
At the end of the day, I'm a crazy, loud, fun loving life, adventurous, carefree spirit. And yes, I've made some crazy decisions. I may have lost my mind for a moment, but with a lot of stuff, people don't really know all the back end details of how all those things occur. But, I had a good run for a couple years. And then when he got here, things fell apart. But I wouldn't take that back. I mean, I even went there on a mission and sang Christian songs in Spanish with the kids in the campo in Santo Domingo. So there's a lot of different levels to this crazy girl.
All right, so if money was not an option, because I know you travel a lot, if you could go anywhere in the world and you can take anyone with you on a vacation anywhere, where would you go and what would you guys do?
I would probably take my bestie and my makeup artist, Nat. He just got back from Peru and he's been studying to be a shaman. He does a lot of holistic healing. He is my guy. Like that's my bestie. And I think that we would probably go to Japan or go to China. I've always wanted to go and just see all the fun fashion in Japan. And I've always wanted to go to China to really dive deeper into what happens there from garment construction and the families and the people, but also just to see the culture. Obviously, over the last couple of years, no one really had the desire to do that, but it's still very much on my plate. I just got back from Dubai. I hosted a trip with Wander XO and it was incredible. And a lot of people were fearful. They're like, oh my God, you're going to Dubai. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. It was the most culturally enriched trip that I've been on. The food was amazing. The country was clean. But what I enjoyed was going into the old souk market there and being clothed in their garments and having my head wrapped up and doing all the things. Plus, I wanted to know a little more about the Muslim culture there because having been more introduced to it on the show and really just trying to find my way with my own spiritual path, I feel like it's so important to understand other countries and nationalities and religions to really cultivate what you believe in your own self. I mean, I have a great belief system. I was born and raised in the South in the first row of the First Baptist Church, and my dad was a deacon, but there's so much more to this life. So I think that I would take Nat and we would go. Plus, he's my Gaby. And I don't know if you know, but gay boys are fantastic. And he's going to tell me, girl, don't wear that. Or he's going to fix my lash. Or he's going to do all the things that make me feel good about me. And that's what I would do.
I love that. And I love that your best friend is honest with you. I feel like that's so important. Having a best friend that's going to be honest and tell you not to do things that are going to make you look crazy or stupid is important, because sometimes people get yes friends. They're just like, yeah, you should do that. Yeah, you should do that. And then you end up doing crazy things. So I love that your relationship is close enough to where he's going to be like, girl, don't be doing that. That's not right. I want to talk about expressions, right? So a lot of people live by these expressions. For some people, it's you live and you learn. The grass is greener on the other side. What kind of expressions do you live by? Like, especially it's Christmas time and people have like these superstitions and things that they do around the holidays. What kind of expression do you live by? Because you've accomplished so much. So I know it has to do with motivation and determination. So I'm just wondering, what do you give yourself a pep talk with in the morning? What do you say?
Well, when I first wake up, I spend a few moments just really grounding myself and prepping myself for the day, because at any given moment, you don't know what's going to come at you. That's a negative force. It could be a post that you see online. It could be something you hear on the radio. It could be a television show. It could be, a client in my store. And even in the face of adversity or the negativity or all the things, my mantra has always kind of been, it's cliche, but it's, expect nothing and appreciate everything. Because when you come into something with super high expectation, if it doesn't turn out the way that you thought, but you weren't going into it with this high level of expectation, then you can appreciate the journey or the moments or what you learned, and you're not leaving there feeling defeated. I think often two times we put so much faith and stock in our own self, when sometimes outside forces come in that have us having to pivot or change or do something different. And even in my past with relationships, with the way I was raised, with the things that I've came in contact with, it's all a moment for learning. It's all a moment for learning. And how do you take that and not internalize it and not put it back out? So for me, it's just find the good in everything. My dad used to tell me growing up, it could always be worse. You always have tomorrow. Just let today go and start over. And I think that even in, where I'm at in my life with all different types of areas, that's where I'm at. You can't pack those bags up and bring them with you. They were unpacked, leave them there, get a new bag, get a new thing, and just stay focused on what drives you in your passion, and expect nothing and appreciate everything.
I really, really love that. And entering things with high expectations, it definitely sets you up for being disappointed. So I really love that. All right, guys. So that's it for part one. We're going to come back with part two, and we're going to talk about breasts and bras. And that's interesting for me because that's a new subject for me, but that is not a new subject for Miss Molly Hopkins. All right, guys. I'm George Mossey. Make sure you tune into my podcast every week, and we'll talk to y'all really soon. I'm George Mossey. So are you obsessed with 90 Day Fiancé? Can you not get enough of 90 Day Fiancé? Do you look forward to every Sunday when you hear previously on 90 Day Fiancé? Then guess what? We are actually friends. You just don't know it yet. Or are you really into TLC shows? I cover all the TLC shows from Smothered. Smothered has aired season 4, episode 5. This was a Family Chantel. This is the Family Chantel season 4. Seeking Sister Wife. Seeking Sister Wife. We're on season 4, episode I Love a Mama's Boy. I Love a Mama's Boy. David and Annie After the 90 Days. This is the David and Annie After the 90 Days recap podcast. The Single Life. Whatever it is that you love about the 90 Day universe, I cover it. Are you disappointed when the show goes off because the conversation shouldn't end? I feel the same way. I think you should check out my website, georgemossey.com. And follow me on all socials at George Mossey so we can continue the conversation of all of our favorite TLC shows and be among like-minded fans. Again, I'm George Mossey. Check me out at George Mossey on all platforms, and make sure you go to my website, georgemossey.com, for all your favorite 90 Day Fiancé and TLC show updates.